I'm Marc Cunningham with Grace Property Management and Real Estate, right here in Denver, Colorado. We work with, since 1978, hundreds and really thousands of investors, helping them buy homes, and we manage those homes for them. And there's a huge shift in the buying community into investment property. And this has peaked and valleyed for many, many years, but it's continuing to grow, and Wall Street knows that. Wall Street's afraid of all these individuals going out and buying investment properties, so much so that they've opened a new fund. Are you aware that the S&P 500 now has a real estate sector, brand new? They've never had that before. The reason they're doing that is because so many people are attracted to investment property. If you're an agent, you have a tremendous opportunity here to help your clients become real estate investors. It's a fabulous opportunity that many agents are still afraid to step into. So here's 5 things to know, quick, easy things to know before you or your client buy that first investment property. First thing you want to consider is, do you want to go condo townhome, or single family? That's a very common question that a prospective client is going to ask you as the agent. What should I buy? Should I buy a single family? Should I buy a condo? It's not a right or wrong, but let me give you 2 quick risks as well as benefits of each of those. So condos, one of the biggest benefits of condo is low turnover costs. When I started investing, that's all I bought, because I knew if the worst case scenario happened and I had to go in and do new carpet and new paint, well, new carpet and new paint on a 600 square foot unit is pretty manageable from a cost perspective. So you've got lower turnover cost on those condos. Another benefit of condos is you've got neighbors. Neighbors are always watching. If there's a problem with noise, if there's a problem with a pet sneaking into the property, if there's a problem with marijuana being grown in the property, you can believe if it's a condo, the neighbors are going to call you, you're going to hear about it. Now, what about some of the risks? Well, condos are harder to rent. The reason is you're competing with multifamily, brand new Class A projects that are popping up all over the place. So if you've got a 1970s built condo, how are you going to compete with the Class A properties going up? They are just harder to rent. That's the nature of the market we're in right now. You also have to worry about and be aware of HOA fees and special assessments. If a condo complex has been undercapitalized, they can make a special assessment at any point in time and just force you as the property owner to pay up in order to keep that complex going, and that's on a monthly basis as well. Now, what about single family homes? They've got some benefits as well. First and foremost is more rental demand. Now, this varies a little bit, but historically, there's always going to be greater demand for single family homes as a rental product as compared to condos. And along with that, you're going to have less turnover. Once folks get into a single family home, they don't move as much as those folks who get into condos. And it's kind of obvious. Condos are typically 1, 2-bedroom units. You get more of a transient population versus a single family home where folks may come in and stick around for a longer period of time. There are risks with homes, however, as well. One is capital expenses. You're going to have to replace that roof at some point in time. There are major capital expenses that you have with homes, single family homes, landscaping as well, that you don't have with condos. And landscaping is huge. If you have a single family home as a rental property, that one of the largest expenses you risk is damage to that landscape. If a tenant moves out of a single family home and they've damaged that landscape, you're going to be looking at several $1,000s of expenses to get the landscaping back up. Now, there's ways to minimize that, but it's just something to be aware of as you're considering condos versus single family homes. Second thing to be aware of is this: be wise in your borrowing. Now, different people have different thoughts on leverage, but what leverage really is it is something that makes more of what you already have, like the microphone I'm wearing now. The microphone just makes more of what my voice is. If you borrow wisely, that leverage will make your investment better. If you have poor borrowing and you get underwater in the property, that leverage is going to create more problems that you have with the home. We've worked with literally thousands of investors for 40 years. There's one commonality in failure for all of the investors we have, only one. Some have been smart, some have been dumb, some have been good decisions, some have made bad, but the commonality point of failure is over leverage. If you're not over leveraged, you can survive almost any mistake. So be very, very cautious in how much you're leveraging your property when you buy it. Third is to manage it like a business. If you're going to be self-managing your property, make sure you have the temperament for it, and make sure you're dealing with your tenants like a professional, because you are a professional and it is a business. So you need to make sure you're treating it as a business. Have a proper lease agreement in place. Be aware of fair housing rules and regulations as it relates to tenant selections. Go deep on the tenant selection process. but treat it and run it like a business from day one in dealing with the tenants. Number 4, have a cash reserve. We recommend all of our clients have a cash reserve of at least 3 times the amount of rent sitting aside for those worst case scenarios. Because at some point in time, the hot water heater is going to go out, and sometimes the hot water heater goes out the same month that the tenants decide not to pay their rent, and that's the same month that you have to evict them, and now you have an attorney fee. So beware, over time you're going to have some of those bad case scenarios happen. If you have a cash reserve in place, that's going to give you a cushion to be able to weather those storms. Number 5, our recommendation is this: pay that thing off as fast as you can. The whole goal of owning investment real estate is what? It's cash flow. It's being able to have income, passive income in the future. Until you get that property paid off, you're never really going to be ultra successful with a cash flow standpoint. So throw every penny you can at that thing. It's not a pipe dream to think that you can get that property paid off, and it shouldn't take 30 years. Get it paid off, get that cash flow coming in quickly on the house. That's how you're going to achieve financial success and independence for you or for your client. If you've got questions on real estate investing, on property management, consider us a resource with Grace Management. Thank you very much.